VA Loan Appraisal Guidelines. What's going on, everybody? It's Jeff Trevarthen here, Jeff the Mortgage Pro. Thanks so much for watching. Do me a huge favor. If you like these videos, go ahead and click on the like button down below. That helps get the message out to as many people as I possibly can. And if you really like my videos, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. That will alert you, hopefully, when the videos come out every Tuesday and Thursday. But today I got a great one for you. We're talking about VA loan appraisals. There's so many people across this country that are afraid of VA loans because of the appraisal process that goes on here. Let's clear all this stuff up. Let's get out there what a VA appraiser is actually looking for. So you know if you're listing a property or you're buying a property or you're selling a property, whether or not your property is going to be able to qualify for a VA mortgage. Okay, at the end of the day, these are the best loans out there. They're rewarding people who served our country, and I will wholeheartedly stand by these and do as many of them as I possibly ever can to do these. So let's talk about the appraisal process so that you know what it is that a VA appraiser is looking for. So first of all, the appraisal process is twofold. All VA loans are going to require an appraisal, number one, obviously. Twofold, to establish a fair market value for the property. That's what the purpose of any appraisal is. Just about all lenders need an appraisal when you're buying a property, so they can determine what the fair market value of that property is. That's exactly what it's supposed to do. Okay. The second purpose of an appraisal is to make sure that the property meets the minimum property requirements. So let's go through all these different minimum property requirements here. So the first one, okay, is that the property has to be a residential 1 to 4 unit property. Okay, you can't lend on a VA loan on a commercial property or a mixed use property. You just can't. It has to be a residential 1 to 4 unit property. It must have adequate living space, so enough room to move around. Usually if you have a kitchen, it could be a studio, you can lend on a VA loan, but it has to be like in a adequate living space to be able to do normal day-to-day functions in there. Exactly what that definition is probably a little bit vague because I don't know the exact definition of that, but you must have an adequate living space to be able to live in. Mechanical systems are safe and operational. This is a big one, okay? Electrical and plumbing systems must be safe. Small electrical problems are probably not a big deal because those can be remedied pretty easily. But if you have a property that you're trying to buy and it has knob and tube wiring, that's probably a really big red flag for a VA appraiser that's probably going to not be able to do that. You probably have to rewire the whole house for you to be able to qualify for a VA loan. And why? Because the loan that they're giving to that veteran, they want to make sure the property is going to be functional. Like knob and tube and wiring is probably not good to have in 2023 when we're recording this video right now. So definitely something that needs to be remedied before that. The heating must be adequate, okay? You must be able to keep the temperature above 50 degrees. So in some places, like if you're going to do a VA loan in Hawaii, like I don't even think the temperature goes below 50 degrees. So it doesn't matter with the heating cooling system in some areas, right? Maybe you're in South Florida, you're probably not going to go below 50 degrees for the most part. So heating may not be required in some of those areas, but if you live in Minnesota, let's say, like you have to have an adequate heat system that's going to be able to keep that temperature above 50 degrees all the way through the winter, okay? You must have water availability, safe water supply, a water heater, and a safe method of sewage disposal. Private wells definitely need to meet local and federal building standards. So if those things are not adequate, then the VA appraiser is going to call those out. You're not going to be able to lend on that property, okay, unless they are remedied. Roofing must be adequate is another one that they're looking for. It has to be in good shape and provide a reasonable future utility. Now, there's no strict definition, again, of reasonable future utility, so that's very subjective in that sense, but the roof, for the most part, needs to be in good condition. The basements and crawl spaces have to be problem-free. That means that they have to be dry, clear of debris, and properly vented so that no moisture can get in there. If there's moisture in there, that's going to be something that needs to be remedied or fixed before the lender will actually lend on that property. Okay, the property has to have safe access from the street. Okay, it must have private driveways or permanent easements to allow entry, or if it's a shared or private roadway, you'll often need to meet the legal requirements of whatever those looks like. So definitely something that the VA appraiser is going to look at is that have a safe access to the property to be able to get to it. It can't have any health and safety hazards. This is kind of a no-brainer. This is like any loan. If an appraiser goes out there and determines that like, hey, the foundation's a mess, you're gonna have to fix this. Like that happens a lot of times in lending that it doesn't work, but it's the same thing for VAs. You can't have any nuclear waste. I think that's so funny that they even mention nuclear. You might have nuclear waste in your yard. Asbestos, okay, that's a big one. Or any radon are huge red flags for VA appraisers, and they're going to call those out. So make sure that your property is free of nuclear waste. That is so funny to say that, even free of nuclear waste, free of asbestos, free of radon, or very, very low levels of any of those things. Okay. Otherwise they need to be remedied before you can actually purchase the property. No defective construction. So minor problems can obviously be addressed, but major issues are not going to qualify. And you'd have to get those fixed before you do that. Termite inspections, it's required in many states, but not all of them. And you're going to have to fix any Section 1 termite stuff that's out there to be able to get a VA loan. So make sure that you do that early on in the process so that you know that stuff can be fixed or addressed before you close on the loan. And lastly, out of all the different minimum property requirements, lead-based paint is a big one also. So properties that were built before 1978 are assumed to have lead-based paint in them. So they need to be stripped and then repainted if they have paint prior to 1978 and have lead-based paint in it. So those things are all issues with a VA appraisal. That's a long and extensive list, but that's what a VA appraiser's job is, to go out there. And that's why it takes a little bit longer to do a VA appraisal sometimes, because they're looking for all these different types of things out there. Okay. So once you get all this stuff done, the appraiser issues what's called a notice of value. And that's going to come back to you as the mortgage lender, and it's going to come back to you as the borrower. Anything that needs to be addressed to satisfy the VA or the other lender requirements are going to be giving you the information in that notice of value. The termite inspection, if one is required, is going to be in there. The proof that a condo is in a VA approved development needs to be in there. The proof that the proper water source meets the requirements set forth by the VA has to be in there. And then a copy of the private road agreement, if one exists, has to be in there. So that notice of value is really, really an important document that happens once the VA appraiser goes out there and does his appraisal. All those things need to be addressed in that VA appraisal. Okay. So hope this video helps out. There's a lot of different things that are associated with the VA appraisal. I am not a VA appraiser, so I don't know exactly what it looks like to go out there and do that. But I am a mortgage lender, and so I do see a lot of these issues come up when we're working on VA loans. So, if you have the ability to head those off before they actually become an issue, make sure you try to do that for your seller or for your buyer or as a real estate agent, whatever you're going to do. Okay. If you guys like my videos, please make sure you click the like button down below. I'm going to leave my calendar link down below. So if you're doing a VA loan somewhere here in the United States, I'd love to be the one that helps you out with that. And I look forward to chatting with you the next time around. Have a good day, guys. Bye.